There are some very special places that will always stand out to me. Belrose Farm is certainly one of them. So in 1999, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources sent a team up and down the Fox River to find the really best ecological properties that have not yet been preserved. The report that came out listed Hidden Shelter Canyon, which is a really neat place. There are a lot of really interesting geological formations here. It's one of those hidden gems that nobody's gotten to see really.
When the property was surveyed in 1999, 156 native species were found on the property. And I've already seen probably a dozen that I've never seen anywhere else. So that's exciting to me.
When we saw in our local newspaper that this land, the Belrose property, was for sale, we thought, oh my goodness, not another piece for sale. That's terrible.
So then I tracked it down through the plat book and I emailed Brooke and said, you're always talking about canoeing on the Fox River. This might be up your alley. And finally it dawned on him where this piece of property is.
It does attach to other land that the Conservation Foundation already had, which made it very practical.
It was too good to let go, and it needed to be saved because there was something here, and it's a gem in the works.
So this is one of those stories that took more than 20 years of evolving until it hit a 2-week frenzy of activity to come together. So it came as quite a surprise when one of our best friends down in this area let us know that this property was coming up to auction in 2 weeks. So if we wanted to save it, if we wanted to preserve it, we had 2 weeks to do it and figure out a way. We had to really be creative here. So oftentimes, we will be a bridge for public agencies trying to buy some land. We step in, purchase it, hang on to it until they get their grant or their funds together, and then transfer it to them. In this case, we were looking for a buyer to do that for us. And it just helped a lot to know of a couple of angels who, A, loved this property, and B, trusted us enough to say, yes, we can put up the money as long as you can find a way to repay us. And so that's what they did. They had a week to do it, and they pulled it together, which is pretty amazing. So we were able to get a grant from the Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation, and then we had some generous donors in the Ottawa area that stepped forward to help, and we used funds from the Hamill Family Foundation as well.
I think that the number one favorite feature of the property is the fact that it is the Fox River Valley system. Across the river itself is an entire bluff area.
First time I came here, it was just magical. The geology, the river, and then for me, the plants. I really get geeked out about plants, and there's a lot of them. Every time I come here, I discover different plants.
Well, I like the variety. You have the hilltop and you have the bottomland. You have the river going through it, and you have the potential of a lot of wildflowers. If you look closely at a place that hasn't been disturbed, you find more than you realize is there.
Well, one of the spots that we have discovered is an area up on one of the high bluffs that is a hill prairie, which are a pretty rare ecosystem. A starting point is discovery. It's the fun part, it's the exploration, it's scrambling up the hills, it's walking along the river. It's trying to see what this property holds.
I think we're slowly waking up to the outdoors. So I just am happy that this is being preserved. One more place. Now we have to get people out to see it and enjoy it.
In my past, I've worked at some pretty cool sites doing restoration work, and this is going to be like a highlight for me. And the people also will be able to wander through these areas and experience something that's just beautiful.
So having it set aside, having this connected with the rest of the properties that Brooke has put together with the foundation, this ties in really nicely. You need islands of refuge. And this section, a 1 mile section, 2 mile section of Fox River is going to provide a really decent island of refuge for the surrounding area.
Over the 20 years we've been working in the Lower Fox, we have helped preserve many properties now in one of the most ecologically and aesthetically interesting parts of the whole river system. When you think about the marsh properties and the sandstone bluffs that many people canoe by, those are preserved. We're right on the other side of the river. Nature preserve to the north, nature preserve to the south, and across the river. It's where Indian Creek comes in. It's a really interesting area.
I'm glad I sort of tweaked Brooke's interest and Dan's interest and said it's worth it, go for it. And I'm happy it's in good hands. There seems to be a lot of spark in the organization.
We need clean water. We need clean air. We need places for solace and to refresh and to reflect. And if we can preserve, save, restore places like this, it's just going to benefit everyone.
Every person who donates to the Conservation Foundation, whether it's $5, $50, $500, is helping us do this kind of work. It pays for people to follow up on these leads, to put these pieces together to be able to preserve these lands. So from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful for everybody who helps. This is definitely one of the highlights of my career.